Welcome to another episode of Sunrise with Hawada, a program where we talk about issues of the moment. We talk about entrepreneurship, we talk about entertainment, information, and education. Yes. On today's edition of the program, I am here at the agency of Public-Private Partnership Agency. Yes, I will be meeting with the DG to know more about the agency and its plan. Come with me as I interview the DG. It's good to have you on the show, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
Sir, can we know who you are?
Yes, my name is Mohammed Etsu. I'm the head of Public-Private Partnership Agency in Niger State.
Okay.
You know how I've been in the politics, into private sector, and I've worked briefly in public sector, and that's what's brought me into this agency to see how we can bring our experience on bear.
Okay, you said public-private or private-public?
Public-private partnership.
What is it all about?
Yeah, public-private partnership is an agency of government
Okay.
that coordinates the activities of public and private partnership.
Okay, they come together to partner
Yeah,
together.
to partner in terms of providing a developmental project, infrastructural development, economic development, and key areas of government where intervention will come from the private sector who has a capacity to move the states forward in terms of infrastructural development and other key sectors of the states.
Does it also deal with investment?
Yes, you can see it actually deals with investment, but this one is two people comes together to see how they can be able to fund a project, mostly a project that we see that is viable, that will give the citizens the best of, what am I going to put it, citizens services,
Okay.
mostly service sectors projects that will be able to ease the citizens hardship in terms of.
When you talk about services, what kind of services?
Yes, actually we have service sectors where we provide in terms of what do you call it?
That even reminds me, you said urban development.
No,
So
yes, infrastructural development.
Yes.
Yes.
So does it mean you provide services like where the society is lacking in terms of, let's say, road or water
Yes,
or something?
those are the key components of even the public-private partnership,
Okay.
where where the private sector will come in providing infrastructural development to the citizens, mostly roads, water, and transports. Because if you look at it, the state or the public itself, the public agencies or the state itself doesn't have the resources to be able to put into some critical infrastructures. And we goes to private sectors who have capacity, who have a lot of envelopes to be able to fund some of these projects.
Okay.
Now, with that arrangement, you can see that both the public and the private sector will come together and see how they can be able to fund some key critical infrastructure projects.
Does the private sector fund with the aim of getting something in return?
Yeah, that's why actually a private sector comes in.
Is it like a business? Or?
Yeah, a private sector comes in with his resources so that he can be able to get in something.
Okay.
But the public sector who regulates these activities, because you are not there, is not outright selling of the public infrastructure. Is how you can be able to revitalize it, put into life, and see how you can be able to give it services that it requires. And you see, most of our critical infrastructures cannot be funded by the state any longer because of dwindling resources. We move to the private sector who have enough resources to put into this project so that it can give life to the citizenry. Most especially roads infrastructure. If you look at Minabida roads, it's being funded by Islamic Development Bank, and there are some times that it will serve so that they can be able to relinquish it back to the states. And concessioning arrangements. You can look at so many things that can come into water projects. It's not easy to fund those critical infrastructure. That is why you look into private sectors to come in. especially water networks, reticulations, and so many other things. Now, if you give private sectors to manage, it will give the service to the citizen. And you look at transport sector, which is one of the critical sectors to manage. If you have a private sector that comes in with resources and manage it before the state, but the state will regulate it, because you are not coming there to just outrightly take over everything. They will have a regulatory agency with the public-private partnership agency so that they can be able to monitor and see how you execute those projects.
Okay. When dealing with the road, for instance, do you work with, let's say, Commissioner for Transport of the state, or let's say if you're trying to provide water, do you engage the water?
Yes, you know, the public-private sector cuts across all the government parastatals and agencies of government, even local governments, because there are some private sectors that come into local government to invest. They must come to this agency to see how we can be able to regulate, because you don't know what it takes. Some of these investors just come in and they don't have capacity to do it. But if you hand over the state resources to them, they will use it to go and take another way of establishing their businesses. But if you have this agency that will regulate, look at your envelope, look at what you have, and look at your statement or books of account, and we know that you have capacity to do it, we will now do the needful so that we can be able to give you a part of the project to execute.
How do you know that the society is liking of something? Do they come here with their complaint, or you have a particular committee that moves around the state to see?
You know, most of the agencies of government, like tourism now, where the service sectors are, tourism and hospitality businesses, where the service sectors are, you can see that we have a lot of untapped potentials in the state. Look at Zuma Rock, look at Gurara Waterfalls, look at these Swashi Hills.
Is the tourism aspect also part of?
Yes, yes, that's why private sectors comes in. And that's why there's the service sectors of the PPP arrangement. Because if you look at the service sector, there's a hospitality business, hotel businesses, and tourism aspect of it. The PPP are the ones that have the requisite experience and the capacity to manage these resources. So now when you come together and you agree on the terms and the condition on how to manage it, you can see those projects will come to life. For example, our Gurara Waterfall has been there for long. Just been mentioning Gurara Waterfall. But if you have a strong private individual companies or consortiums that's agreed to come and invest there with a serious mind with the arrangements, you can see that place will be a tourism destination for the state and entire country. You look at our Zuma Rock, who has we have an hotel in Zuma Rock, which I think has been started during Awal Ibrahim regime, the Emir of Zazzau, and it's still there, nothing has been done. Even though there are some litigations on that, but I think the current governor of Niger State, who we believe that is a talk and do, and is a pusher, is trying to see how we can be able to manage it and get it back to the state, and we get a serious people to put in their resources and bring it to life. And we also have a agri sector where you see some private sector comes in providing agro mechanism and so many things in agri sector, so that we can be able to have a robust agri states, where in the mechanization area, in agro-allied area, and so many other things. And even in health sector, building of hospitals, buildings of pharmaceutical companies, if you have a private sectors that are ready to come in, the agency will see their capacity and how they can be able to achieve this in some times, and we'll give them a room so that they can be able to give our state more lives. We have so many things to do in this agency. It cuts across so many agencies of government and the ministries and parastatals. The basic thing now is for us to bring this to life, because we want to work with the best practices of a PPP arrangement and bring it to Niger State so that we domesticate it, and all agencies will also key in to our programs and activities.
You're just assuming your office.
Yes.
What is that policy that you intend, or the plan you intend to start with?
Yes, our plans is to see how we build capacity in the agency itself. Because if you look at it, in any of agency that you want to sell to the world, you must have a capacity that you build among the staffs and the staffers of the organizations. We should be able to tell the whole world what the agency is all about. And we want to see how we can be able to get in best hands so that we can project the PPP arrangement and get private sector who are interested in putting in their resources into the states. Will do anything possible to make sure that the state is sold to the world for businesses.
Is there an agreement first before starting anything between the private and the government?
Of course, that's why the agency is set up. The agency is there to regulate, look at the arrangements that you're coming in with. So
the private doesn't keep their agreement?
Of course, you can sue and you can sue. Definitely, because there must be a time lag for each of an investor to put in the resources, and there must be time to also relinquish the resources back to the states. And those are the things that the agency is key into to see how we bring it to fruitions. And with the support of His Excellency, the Governor of Niger State, Right Honorable Umar Bago, who has been up and doing since his inauguration to see the new Niger of his dream. You can see a lot of people have shown interest in bringing in their resources into Niger. And if we have this agency on board to regulate it and to give them that confidence and security of their resources, I think we will have more of this in the next few years. And with the developmental stride of the governor trying to put some key infrastructures in place, you can see that we're ready for business as a state. And that's why, as the head of this agency now, we'll do anything possible to sell the states to the other world to see what we have in our niti.
So your arms are open to investors?
Seriously, our arms are open, and we'll do more to reach out to the big players, because the big players are the ones that have the resources to put into our new Niger project. The public sector, which is the government of the state, can only do in terms of providing security for your business, the infrastructures that will make sure that your business thrives, and so many other things, the components that will make sure your business succeeds. The governor is already doing that. Now the agency will work hand in hand with other key players and stakeholders to see how the dreams come true.
Gotten a lot already, and it shows that you plan well for this ministry, and you also have a lot of plans in store. And believe me, Nigerites, more is coming your way, and I believe in their plans and policies also. This brings us to the end of today's episode of the program Sunrise with Hawadana. It has been an interactive section with Mohammed Etsu, the new DG PPP.
Public-Private Partnership Agency.
Okay, so we'll see you again same time next week.